Welcome to the, all right, that was our recording. All right,
Yeah.
so now anything you can may be used against you in the court of Sishi. So welcome to the August 11th meeting. Hopefully you all have your agendas either before you or you've already reviewed them. That has not only the agenda and also all the information in terms of minutes of both last meeting as well as the executive minutes. And so for the introductions today, it being all stormy, maybe you just tell us your favorite part about the Wizard of Oz movie. So,
so hey, by the way, Jack, I gotta say, it was funny because I wasn't here last time, and I'm reviewing the recording, and Mary Ann said some nice things about me, like, oh, and Gil's really good about getting out the materials to you guys a week ahead of time. And so I want to apologize to everybody. I literally sent them out yesterday, and that's not my normal practice. I'm just getting swamped. So if you haven't had a chance to even open an email yet, it is there. Just let us know. But thank you for your patience with that. Go ahead, Jerry.
All right. So I'm Jack Wheatley, lead pastor of Greater Grace Community Church. And having been forced to watch the Wizard of Oz multiple times by multiple ladies, I believe that my favorite part of the Wizard of Oz is just when isn't it the lion that needs courage? So I like how the big old lion has no courage, and then they have to encourage him, like endue him with courage. So there you go, Jared, you're the next guy, and then the master of telling who's next.
I'll go next. I'm Jared, prevention specialist at Ecker, also social media specialist with the coalition. I would say my favorite is just Toto in general. I like the dog. Am I saying it? Alyssa? Is that how do you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's Alyssa. Thanks. My name is Alyssa Pinkowski. I work for the Community Crisis Center, and I am a sexual assault preventionist. And this is my first time joining. I'm really excited. My favorite part of Wizard of Oz would probably be just the scarecrow in general.
Cool.
Thank you. Bernie, would you like to go next?
Oh, I can go next, but I don't know that I can narrow it down to a favorite part. I like the the brigade of people working for the Wicked Witch of the West, where they're like marching and singing. That's probably it. Other than that, I don't know why I'm a fan of the Tin Man, but I am.
Oh, interesting.
Thank you. Bob, would you like to go?
Yes. Pastor Jack, I always get these hard, I always struggle with it. Well, I had to tell you, I'm not haven't seen the Wizard of Oz, but I've seen the Wiz. Would that count?
Yeah.
That. Okay.
Diana Ross.
Yeah. So yeah, I like Michael Jackson was the Scarecrow, so I guess the Scarecrow. Right.
Thank you.
You're Bob Witt, and what do you do for the city of Elgin, Mr. Witt?
Oh, I am community engagement. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm so overwhelmed by your question, I forgot to.
Christina, would you like to go next?
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm the parent rep. Yeah, that's a hard one. I think I'll have to go with the Munchkins. I just like the Munchkins. I just want to hug. So cute.
Thank you. Jessica.
You know what I'm going to say, Gil. I'm Jessica. I'm one of the prevention specialists at Ecker Center. And I actually really hate the Wizard of Oz because I saw the part where I only saw this part like in a store where the witch has Toto and she's counting down and like, ha ha ha, he's going to die. and it like scared me off of movies as a child, and I refused to watch any other movies. So The Wizard of Oz is not my favorite.
Thank you. Sophia.
I mean, I'm kind of like Jessica. I don't really like The Wizard of Oz, but I like the ruby slippers. So it's probably the only good thing. And the dog, but that's it.
Sophia, is that your office?
Yeah. I have a lot of Narcan in my office. So
You look like you're being swallowed up.
She's ready to make a lot of deliveries, Bernie.
Yep.
And so
Wow.
what do you do, Sophia? It's Alyssa's first meeting, so we want to let her know what we're all.
Yeah, I am a substance use coordinator for the Kane County Health Department. So I manage the Narcan program here. So opioid overdose reversal drug.
Thank you. And
Very good.
yeah, or Gil, I think you are last.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm Gil. I'm the project director for the coalition, and Jessica and Sophia. I would make a suggestion if you don't like The Wizard of Oz, that you possibly take a gander at Bob's suggestion of The Wiz. It's a little bit tamer and much more musical, and in some ways,
I
even
loved
better.
Wicked.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Perfect. Excellent. Anyhow, so I help coordinate the coalition full time. And as for me with the Wizard of Oz, I suppose I don't know if it's my favorite part, but the most impressional part to me was this whole sense of the wizard. Okay, this is what it's about. This wizard, and they build them up. They build them up, and then you realize it's just kind of somebody behind the curtain. And it was such a it's an interesting life lesson for me. Sometimes I do build things up in my head, and the reality is so much more mundane than what had been built up in my own noggin. So that's kind of what impressed me the most about Wizard of Oz, I guess. Um,
Thank you. So Gil, I was gonna put up the poll. Did you want to say anything about it first, or did you wanted me just to kind of explain it, or did you?
Whoa. We have Beverly in the house. And Beverly, welcome to the.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, Beverly.
That's okay. She's here. She kind of went in and out maybe with the internet. But what we're doing, Beverly, is introductions and then our favorite part of Wizard of Oz, or for Mr. Witt, he said The Wiz. So you got the floor.
Well, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Beverly Johnson. My agency is called Broken Chains Counseling. I'm in the process of pivoting from DUI service to supporting women after abortion, and also doing reoccurring DUI offender workshops where we're going to put together toolkits to help them stay in sobriety. I chose that particular niche because they keep having reoccurring DUI offenses, and we need to get to the bottom of that. It's been on my heart for a long time. So I'm going to get that started. I'm excited about so many things that I want to do this year. Having a lot of health issues and family problems. I need you guys to keep me in prayer because I'm going to keep going forward no matter what. Oh, The Wiz. My favorite part. I don't know. I got so many. I kind of like the crazy monkeys. And I love the Wicked Witch.
Very interesting.
You know what, probably on a faith aspect, it would be Dorothy, no matter what, knowing that she was going to make it home and having faith.
Hey, how about that? That was like the ending. I was like, the iconic image is like, isn't it Dorothy? And she clicks those ruby slippers together and she's like, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. So there we go. We ended really strong. Way to go, Beverly. Thank you.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right.
Now I think everyone's done. Gil, did you want to say something before?
I think Jack has an announcement about the secretary or minutes. No.
Oh, you want to pass the minutes?
I'll make it for you. Yeah. Is there anybody here that could take the minutes for today's meeting?
All right.
There you go.
There we go. All right. they're recorded. We'll figure that out, right? So, all right. Well, we have next on our agenda is a drug-free communities report. Is that you?
No, we do not. It's the poll.
It's the poll. Okay.
Oh,
So we're going to do the poll. All right. Very good. So we need your help here with these polls. All right. Very good.
so Jared's got a poll up. Just want you guys to quickly we want to get your thoughts on as we move through this process of COVID, the pandemic and then the vaccine and on and on and on. There are some of you, based on your comments, that definitely want to start meeting in person. There's other of you that definitely want to continue virtual. So we just wanted to poll you guys and take this back to the executive committee. And Jared, if you could announce what the results of the poll are right away, that would be great.
So far we have 4 votes in. We have, there we go, 7 votes in. We have 4 for in-person only. We have 2 for virtual only, and we have 1 for hybrid. Now we have 5 for in-person only. So that's the majority right now.
So 5 in person, 4 virtual only.
Now we have, so everyone has voted now. So we have 6 in person only, 2 virtual only, and 1 hybrid. Got it.
And I know you guys, we have 20 something members. But this is the average amount we've been getting on Zoom is around 9-10. When we're physically present, it's varied, but in the last year at least, COVID included, it was about 13. And before COVID, our average attendance was about 16, 17. So, we've never had 100%, nobody does. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. We'll take that back to the executive committee for consideration. I think if we do move on something, it's very likely going to be in October because that's the start of our next fiscal year. So next month, it may still be a Zoom, but we need time to think about it and talk about it, and hopefully we'll get you guys a good meeting than the one that you want. All right. Thanks, Jack.
Very good. Drug-free communities report. Is that you?
Hey, that's me.
That's you.
Okay, Jared, could you enable screen sharing?
Should be good.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, sir. Here is my report. Let me make sure that I put it in presentation mode. Okay, great. So the first thing that I wanted to share with you guys was just a really quick video on the recap of the mid-year training that we had at CATCA. Again, another stellar training with just tons of good stuff. And I'm still going back and catching a couple classes that coincided with another one I was taking, so I just couldn't do both. But I want you guys to take a look at it. This happened July 9th through the 15th, and take a peek at what they did. This is typically a conference that takes place somewhere in the United States, and they usually have about 2,000 folks or so.
Good morning and welcome to the CATCA's 20th annual mid-year training.
Thank you for your commitment to improving your communities through prevention. Your work has never been more important than it is right now.
It takes a village of communities. We and IAAA in the alcohol research field can't do it alone. Coalitions have been and continue to be vital partners, and your coalition is one of the vitalest of partners as far as we're concerned.
The substance use prevention field represented here today never ceases to amaze me. Continue to move forward, continue to push forward.
Substance use is declining dramatically since 1978. And it's youth-driven trend, and obviously prevention efforts have made a tremendous impact on that. It's very important to build on that success. We're not where we want to be, but the change is very dramatic.
As our communities begin to emerge from the grip of the pandemic, community-based coalitions like CADCA play an ever more critical role in supporting the recovery of young people with substance use issues.
You can do everything in your power to prevent use of all drugs during adolescence.
Many of the panelists here have had that one rock to hold us down and keep us motivated for whatever it is we want to achieve. Be that rock for somebody.
Once you find your voice, hold on to it. It's going to take you places. It's going to maybe even build a future for yourself.
A esta sesión de políticas sobre alcohol en América Latina y la respuesta de las coaliciones comunitarias.
Social emotional realities must be considered in our efforts to engage young people in prevention. Many young people are still literally crying out. Who's listening? We are.
I want to thank you all again for being part of our 20th annual mid-year. Thank you all for making it a tremendous success. Thank you for staying with us during COVID and these 3 virtual training events. We've learned great things during this. Most of all, we've learned that you're with us in this fight. We'll see you again soon. Wishing you peace, blessings always. Thank you very much. And we'll see you at National Leadership Forum.
I think for those of you that have never been to one, certainly recommend it. And I want you to know that as a coalition member, you're able to go. We can't send everyone if it's a physical one, so we have kind of a lottery system. But the next training isn't the mid-year; it's the annual one, and it's called a forum, and it'll be typically the first week of February. I don't think they've announced yet whether that's going to be virtual or in person, but please keep that in mind if you're interested in going. If it is somewhere else, or even if it's virtual, let me know. It's excellent training, and what we found in the past is people that go to these trainings, coalition members, boy, they come back. They kind of things click for them. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right. So the next thing is my photo voice project that we're doing. Yeah. And this is a project that you guys all know about because we've talked about it. And we're doing this in collaboration with the Illinois Association for Behavioral Health. They've been wonderful support. And we've got photos are coming in. Right now, all we're doing is culling the photos, which just means selecting the top 2 for each of the participant students, which is there's 7 of them. And then the library, I've talked to them and their whole team. There's like 8 people in the room. They're all excited about it to exhibit the students' work in and around October 15th, right after Hispanic Heritage Month. So that's going along fairly well. Some of the kids are really tough to get a hold of. Obviously, you guys know, you can imagine it's summertime, but most of them are still on board. So I'm excited about it. And that's just a sampling of some of the photos we're still kind of culling and looking over. So I'll keep you guys posted on that because it really is a great opportunity for kids to kind of give their voice about issues of gambling, addiction, community issues. I think y'all will definitely be y'all be invited to the grand opening of the exhibit. Our latest Encouraging Conversation podcast is out. It's with Maria Leon of Familia Dental. We had a fun time with her. It was great. It was nothing like getting a root canal, so it was very fun. It was light, and Jack did a wonderful job as our host. So please tune into that if you haven't subscribed already, do so. And any of you that do subscribe to it under iTunes kind of like the mothership. And if you like it, hey, give us a rating because otherwise Apple tends to kind of bury podcasts that aren't rated well or at all. And for this, we did do a back to school report. We did do it back to school with Familia Dental. And for this, I wasn't there. So I'd like to have Christina Colunga. If Kathy's on the line, Kathy can chime in as well, Kathy Pava. But I know Christina is right now. So Christina, tell us a little bit of how this event went, if you don't mind.
It went really well. There were a ton of families, so we actually finished super early because they ran out of backpacks. So it was like a backpack giveaway. And then we gave away the little bags, goodie bags for Sishi. And the only negative, I don't know. It was bad planning the way that they had the setup. So the traffic got really congested. The small entrance from a small road, and people couldn't get in and out quickly. So they just kind of they were trapped there for a while, and they already had their things, so they couldn't get out. But it was successful, but unfortunately they didn't have enough backpacks for everyone. So I think they had like 200 or 250, and they ran out within, I think, an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, and that people lined up ahead of time, so we started early and ended super early.
Okay.
As far as like what we gave out, not all the bags were the same. So some people would ask for doubles, because there'd be two families in a car, and then they were like, wait a minute, but they appreciated it. And maybe for next year we could think a little bit about what we want to include in the bags for the families. But overall it was really good, and it was fun meeting everybody and just greeting everyone. So
Awesome.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I have liked it.
Thank you. I don't know if Kathy's on. I don't think she is. But does anybody have any questions to Christina about the event? I think, I mean, the fact that thing, kind of started early, ended early, the demand for it was, I mean, sounded crazy. And she had warned me that they only had 200, but that went really fast. Let me ask you though, in terms of a volunteer, did you feel, and I want you to be honest here, was the coalition, so did you feel supportive? Did you feel prepared for it? On and on. Could we have done a better job of helping you as a volunteer have a better experience or a different experience?
No, you guys did good. I mean, the tent was set up. I just showed up and basically helped distribute the bags. And for this event, like if they make it bigger, then maybe we need two people at least to be able to go out to the cars. But I was fine by myself. The only thing is we didn't really get to say like, oh, we're Coalition for Safe and Healthy Elgin, this is what we do, because they were trying to get them out of there, and hard enough already because they were waiting so long. So I would say maybe change our pamphlets. I thought they were a little too wordy. You want to catch people, do short and sweet, and grab the attention of parents, because these are all parents, and if they were more geared towards parents and children, birdie, I think that they would be more inclined to learn about the coalition. But mostly they were like, oh, free, what's in here? And they were looking at like the pill box, the hand sanitizer, the giveaway stuff. So, and not really caring who it's from or what we do or any of that. But
Which is honestly, I think I find that out when I do these tabled events. There are a certain segment of population, they just want the tchotchkes. Now, I'm a big tchotchke lover, so I can totally feel that. But I do sometimes, I am interested in that, do and stop and talk. And just so everyone knows on the coalition, we count, we get an idea of how many we distributed and all that. But what really helps for reporting is conversations that we have with people. We report how long we were with them, whether the topic was marijuana or alcohol or whether it was something else. All that stuff gets imported into our software and gets reported out and goes to our overall dashboard in terms of activities and all that. And I know we haven't even debriefed Christina about that event, but if you, it's impossible to talk to people. It's a drive-through, and that's a real problem. They're in and out. So, I have a question for everybody else. These table events, you all have either hosted tables before yourself with your organization or agency, or you've gone to these events. Any thoughts about those? Should we do these things at all? Should we not do these? Discuss.
I think we should. I just think our approach needs to be improved. especially with the Spanish speaking community. When I was at the church event, I spoke to a couple of moms and they were really interested, but they wanted more like direct, okay, what events can I help at? How can I be involved? And besides like being a part of the coalition, which they weren't comfortable with because they only spoke Spanish, I didn't really have anywhere else to lead them to. I didn't really know. And I told them because of COVID, we don't have as much going on, and they understood. But I told them, follow us on social media, and they said they would. But
Okay, awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate that. Anybody else comments?
And and what Christina is talking about is that at our church we had our fun fest, and Christina manned the table at that. It's essentially like a block party. We had like carnival games and a number of organizations with tables. Christina was excellent. Like I got rave reviews from other tables that Christina was, like you just see her right now. She's smiling. She's got that effervescent smile where people want to come and speak to her, right? So we had 63 families there that were represented throughout the day. That doesn't count like the full amount of people. So I think, it was a good amount for like 103 with the real feel. So yeah. So I think what Christina was saying there was parents are asking how to get involved with the coalition work. And so if we armed our table representatives with ways that the community can get involved with coalition work, that would be helpful for the community and then helpful for the table reps.
Yeah, perfect. Like a list of opportunity, a list of volunteer opportunities. Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else want to share anything about the tables, thoughts?
I mean, they're always good to do to get your name out. Sorry. But they're never going to be where you're going to make the biggest impact, but that's where you can recruit volunteers. You can get the information out. I know when we go out, we set out like mental health resources and, information about the different drugs and stuff. So it's good to get information out there, but it's not going to be your solve all thing.
Yeah. Thank you. And I know you've done a few of your fair share of tabling. Thank you, Jessica. All right, cool. We'll move on to the next item, which is Red Ribbon Week. That's coming up every year, 23rd to the 31st. This is really in honor of DEA agent Kiki Camarena that was killed years ago. And so this thing started up. This year we have a couple of new collaborative partners for Red Ribbon Week. The Fox Valley Young Marines will be helping us. The Girl Scouts of Northern Illinois will be helping us, and the Boy Scouts of America, Three Fires Council, will be helping us. So we're really excited. It looks like the Young Marines will be helping us both with the tying of the ribbons as well as a 5K/run that we're going to do. The Girl Scouts will likely help us with the ribbons, and the Boy Scouts would likely help us more with the run walk. So we've got some partners, but it's going to still go out to the community. So just so you guys know, and the reason the Scouts got involved, if you can see over to the extreme right, you see a DEA patch. They've come out with this thing, and they really pushed it this year. And so this gives the Scouts an opportunity to earn another patch that's from the DEA for Red Ribbon Week. So we're excited about that. We had National Night Out last week on the 3rd. Here are some of the photos that I took. Jared's there talking with Councilmember Stefan. A couple of the kids, you can see the kid that's got the yellow frilly flyer. That's our frilly flyer. It's got our logo on it. The kid at the bottom with the blue Frisbee, that's a police department Frisbee. So they had a balloon artist there. It was really a lot of fun. I think even Jared would attest to that. Jared, would you attest to that?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, Jared had a blast. As you can see from the picture of Jared on the top right, he engaged in a little exercise, and we did electric slides. And so see this some of the photos. You'll see a kid over here with sunglasses, and this is another one of our tchotchkes. We have the coalition sunglasses, and he's there answering questions that Jared has given him about true or false regarding drug and alcohol. So it was a good time to connect with people individually, and it was pretty fun. We are part of the Youth Empowerment Program, which is a new program in Elgin. And I would like our member, Bob Whipp, to now chime in on what this program is and what we hope to accomplish with it in the community.
Yeah, thanks, Gail. Just a couple of minutes. The city council members have approved Elgin Police Department to do this program and it's a prevention program. How do we kind of fill the gap of different situations that may occur with young adults, students, those that are involved in gangs, those that are not, but yet still are challenged by some things. And instead of the police department coming in and, them doing their job from a law standpoint, we feel like there's kind of a void, a kind of go-between before, what can we do in a prevention mode so that, we can utilize some of the resources that we have in the community to kind of help some of these kids or young adults. Part of this program too is doing some home assessments, going into the homes, speaking with the families, the parents. And so we have some people that are, we're continuing to build on it, but we do have some people right now, some what we would call community experts that are working with us, Chris Lamette and Charles Perry from Chicago. Chris did a lot of work with Mayor Daley, the last Mayor Daley. And so it provides opportunities for us, our group here, to get involved. We have Pastor Jack and other faith-based organizations. We got some community agencies that are going to be involved. And what we're trying to do is, the police is not trying to take the ownership to do it, but they are saying, hey, how do we pull the resources, the experts that can assist in dealing with the situation as it relates to a young adult in their circumstance. So that's kind of the gist of it. We are looking for people to serve on the governance board. The governance board is kind of like just a board that would kind of oversee the working committee group. And so we're in the process of kind of looking at people to be involved in that as well. So I'm very glad, Gil, that we are representing, and I know that the chief was very pleased about that as well. So anyway, that's just the gist of it. And if anybody have any questions or anything you want to get back to me on, please.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And so that everybody understands, when we say that we're partnering with them, it isn't like me. It's a coalition, right?
It's a coalition, correct.
Right. So if the program requires a specialty area, I'm gonna look to all 20-some of our members and say, hey, who might be able to best help in this situation?
Yes.
So, yeah,
yes.
I'm so excited about that. And that's really the kind of what the coalition's all about, right?
Yes.
Coalition of people
Absolutely.
that could pool their resources. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's the end of my report, Mr. President.
Yeah, did everybody get the gist of what that youth empowerment program is and what's happening with that? We had, what was that, like 2 weeks ago, Gil and Bob, that we had that meeting, or was that? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So we're like planning stage.
Yes.
And so Gil was able to be there for a little bit. I was there along with the other community partners at the bottom. But what Bob is saying is there's a number of like working groups, like governance. What was the like people that will actually be going out and meeting with the youth or with the family, right? So what we're trying to do is the EPD, before there's a problem, like the youth becomes problem youth, right? Like, you know, there's just stresses or whatever that's happening in school or whatnot. Before they catch a case, right? They want them to catch a vision for their life instead of catching a case.
Yes.
And so we encourage anybody that would want to be helpful in that to do so. And so this is an open invitation from Bob, from Gil, from the whole C-Sheet for you guys to take part. So very good.
Thank you, Pastor Jack.
You're welcome. So did anybody have any questions about the Youth Empowerment Program? We'll open that because that's an important thing that we want to engage in as a coalition.
I would just like more information so I can figure out how I can participate and what I can do to help. Sounds very interesting. Growing up in Chicago, knowing about gangs and the environment some of our teens are growing up in, I would be very interested in participating. I have no problem with going into homes, talking to families or talking to kids. It's one of my fortes. So let me know the next meeting and I will make sure I'm there.
Yes, it is. I'm going to send everybody my email and you can just contact me and we can go from there.
Now I took like a version of notes, right? So my note-taking skills, I guess, could be questionable, but I shared them with Gil. I'd be happy to share them with everybody. You know, the what was it? The consultants were just kind of coming in and sharing, like the rough framework. So basically, it's ground floor where we're basically formulating how, with the governance board, how it's going to work,
right?
Like the program and what we're actually going to do. And then the implementation board or whatever, that's the nuts and bolts. And that's where we're actually going and then interacting with the families, interacting with the youth and help circumvent that downward spiral, so to speak. So I'd be happy if Gil, you want to share those notes, or if you need me to share them, we'll get Jared to push them out to the whole coalition. All right.
I have no problem with it. Hey, one thing, I'm sorry, guys. One thing that Tina had asked me to do since she wasn't going to be available is to share the financial report with you all. She's our treasurer. She's going to make it today. Briefly, hopefully you're seeing the screen, I believe, right?
We are.
Okay. Right. Which screen are you seeing? The highlights?
Yeah, financial highlights, August 2021.
Perfect. So just full disclosure, so you guys see what's going on here. I shared it the last couple of months. This is the latest one. We basically have just two accounts, money from the feds and then money in our checking account, local checking account. The money from the feds is the grant that's encumbered, very specific how we use that. The money in our checking account isn't as encumbered. We have more flexibility with that. So and just so everybody knows, the feds are giving us still $125,000 a year. This is kind of a wonky year because they kind of gave us a grant from like October to December and then one from January to September. Everything got kind of pushed back because of COVID, and so it'll all go back to normal this coming year, but the numbers might be a little off. I think that's one of the reasons you kind of see some of the numbers not making sense. But if you have any questions you want to drill on, we got all the details. We have a chief financial officer here at Ecker that can spit out any report you guys want on how it's spent and all the details. And I keep as much as I can of it, but I don't have all the details of where the money is spent. Ecker does, so they can push that report anytime. So just so you guys know, kind of where we're at financially. Any questions I should ask? Okay.
Here, I'll give an update. Let's see. Ecker has a new CEO. That's correct, right? I'm sorry, CFO. CFO. New CFO. So what had happened in the last 2 years was what was it? Ren's being acquired by Ecker, and then the whole transference of financial information, that was a huge upheaval for us. And with the new CFO, in very short order, Lisa was empowered to give us much better financial information, much better drill down. So we're very happy where we're positioned with the financial information flow from Eckert down to us. Now, we were never shorted any money. We were always able to do things. Timeliness sometimes was an issue, but I think, moving forward in the next fiscal year, we're going to be in a very good position. And so, seeing that Tina wasn't here, she sent us a message yesterday. So I don't want to forget this. And she said that her brother-in-law is in the hospital with a brain tumor and is having surgery today. So that's like a serious thing. So keep her in your thoughts and in your prayers as you move throughout the day. So thank you, Gil, for that information. We want to do the consent agenda, or the minutes is basically the consent agenda at this time. And so we wanted to have you peruse those minutes, both of the general meeting last month as well as the executive meeting. And I'll give you a minute, I suppose. We don't have the Jeopardy background, right?
We do, but you won't be able to hear it.
All right. And then when you all are comfortable, I'll accept a motion to accept the minutes.
Jack, I'll make a motion. I reviewed this document yesterday. and
Excellent.
again on my screen.
Very good. So there's a motion to accept the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Would anyone like to discuss the minutes, or would you like to approve the minutes?
I would like to approve the minutes.
All right. Bernie is making a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Yeah, there's already a second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Oh,
Aye.
Any noes? No. Okay, the motion passes. Very good. Very good. We have a group activity at this point.
yes.
Gil?
Yeah, I really wanted to get everybody's thoughts on this. This is kind of the document that we kind of start with when we do our work as a coalition. We have to assess the community. It's the strategic prevention framework starts with the letter A, and it's assessment. And we should visit this thing every year to see how things change. So I wanted to get you guys' feedback on this. This is our current, what you're seeing is our current community assessment. I want your opinion, your thoughts, your feedback. Tell me, are we on the right track? Is there anything that needs to be changed, modified, deleted? And for those of you that don't feel comfortable reading it, I'll read it for you. Elgin, Illinois is located approximately 35 miles west of Chicago, connected to a city by a commuter train line and the major Interstate 90. A small portion of Elgin residents are home to Cook County, with the majority of our residents encompassing King County. We're home to approximately 112,000 residents from a variety of cultural backgrounds. Per the last census, which is the 2010 census, persons under 18 represent about 29% of the population. 44% of Elgin residents are Hispanic, 9% Laotian, 7% African American, and the rest 60% Caucasian. 26% of our residents are foreign born. The average household income is about $60,000, and over 14% of our population lives in poverty. Only 24% of persons aged 25 or older hold a bachelor's degree or higher. Thoughts? Is this right? Is it wrong? Does it feel, do you want to add anything? What are you guys' thoughts?
Is this accurate to now? You said 2010 with all the stats as well?
The census, when it refers to the census information, that's the 2010 census. The 2020 numbers haven't come out quite yet, but I'm sure they'll change.
Okay.
So then as soon as those are released, do we just update this community description with the aforementioned agency? Is there any other information besides solely, demographic
Well,
percentages?
I got this highlighted for your thoughts on the highlight portion because I'm ready to go to the next one. Any other thoughts on the highlighted? Because there is more, Jack.
Oh, yeah, great.
Bill, what is the purpose of only 24% of the persons aged 25 or older hold a bachelor's degree or higher? So, I mean, what's the point behind that?
I think the point was we as we target our messaging and we market our messaging, we have to have a better understanding whether this is a community with a lot of PhDs and professionals and what have you, or whether it's more of a working class kind of community. And I think that might go to kind of how you write the messages and the posts and the brochures and all that kind of stuff. I think that's really what it is. It's up to the coalition if they want to include this portion or not. If you guys think maybe we should remove it, I have no problem with it. If you think it's helpful, then we leave. What are you guys' thoughts? Or what was your thoughts, Bob? Do you think we should remove? Or?
Well, your answer was well stated. My first impression when I read it was, we're kind of speaking. It comes across to me as we're kind of limiting. I don't take it as a defense, but I wonder if people would take it as a defense. That
is it the word only? Is it the word only? I wonder if
I was going to say that only. Right? Yeah, just kind of. I know it's not. I notice it's not what it's saying, but come across as
judgmental.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you. Okay.
And that's just my thought. So don't change or whatever just on my. I mean, just
I agree. I think Jenny agrees. Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing, actually. It's interesting.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. So the next one is community of place. This is defined as a group of people. I'm sorry, I highlighted too much. Define a group of people sharing a common geography that exists within Elgin, coincide with the Fox River. The river runs through the city, dividing the community into east versus west. The geographical division also contributes to a perceived ranking among neighborhoods, depending on whether whether or not they fall on the east or west side. Our two main townships also create communities of place. Hanover Township and Elgin Township fund various social services and community projects for those living within their township boundaries. This is under the heading communities of place. Good, bad thoughts? Anything we should delete, add, modify? And I know there's when I worked for the city of Elgin, the city formerly was trying to get away from a east-west division with the river kind of dividing the city, mostly because they felt division was something negative or whatever. There's some that argue that Randall Road is our current divider between 60124 and the 2 3s and the two zeros. What are you guys' thoughts? I mean, do we keep this the way it's phrased? Should we update it? Should we change it?
I was wondering, you kind of mentioned it, but like with the Randall Road and like how kind of more rural it is out that way on the west side. I mean, I like this. I think you should leave this, but I wonder if you should add in that there's huge community development out by Randall Road so that isn't there newer developments out there and everything. So I mean, that just kind of, I don't know how to phrase that, but
the fact that you brought it up, Gil, I think it needs to be in there because what you're trying to do is identify like what is happening in the community that then informs how we make a difference in the community, right? I mean, that's why you're talking about communities of place. You're looking at the different divisions and how does that affect what we do?
Yeah, I mean, everything affects what we do, but it always starts with our community. So as we sit around and talk about, how to address underage drinking or what have you, if we don't have a solid assessment of our community, then we've definitely put the cart before the horse. because this is the very first thing is the assessment. And so that's why, I can guarantee you, I will share you guys with any, as the 2020 census numbers come out, we'll update that. But this is something, because communities do evolve and they do change. So I'm getting your guys' input, because frankly, I can't remember the last time we asked for your input on this. This is just kind of a living document. And this assessment is not only helps us, but if it's good, if we all agree on this and get a consensus on it, this is a document, honestly, that we could literally give to anybody that's interested in, say, coming to Elgin. What's Elgin about? This is a great summary and gives them hopefully a really good idea of what kind of community Elgin is. So thank you for that. The next is the communities of interest. It's defined as a group of people sharing a common interest. There are plentiful in our large community. With over 100 churches within our city limits, the faith community is a significant stakeholder. Soccer is a common sport amongst our students, so there are several private clubs in addition to the school teams. Elgin is home to many historical districts overseen by neighborhood associations and homeowners who take great care to preserve our neighborhoods. Anything in there that we should add, delete, modify?
Gil, there.
I have a,
Oh, go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I have a question about the faith communities listed with the churches. Because when I hear faith community, I think like different types of faiths. So that would include like temples or mosques, or so I don't know if maybe with the churches it would say Christian community, and with faith community, do you know what I mean? Just like I just that
Would like places of worship cover mosques and synagogues?
Yeah.
Everybody, everybody kind of have a agreement, a disagreement?
I agree with that. Gil, I know we don't have over 100, but that would include mosques, temples, and everything. But
yeah, what number would you feel comfortable with? Because I don't know where they got the 100. This was given to me.
Oh,
I mean, you had to ballpark it.
I would, I'd say probably about 80 places of worship. You know, we have lost for various reasons, particularly churches.
Okay.
That people have moved on, they closed down. We do have some new ones coming in. I just talked with someone this morning, but yeah, I know that 100 has been something that people have used a lot.
Okay.
And I just think if we're, if she's trying to do this right, I would say more about 80.
Thank you. And we are trying to do it right. And as a member of the faith community, we certainly appreciate your input.
Yeah.
Anything else here? One thing that struck me kind of weird was soccer is a common sport among our students. Gosh, there's a lot of sports that are common. Do we keep that? What do you guys, do we take it out? Do we say football?
So Gil, I think, if to your point of accuracy, right, community is of interest, right? So we would want to, like when you say places of worship, does it, the magnitude of just places globally, maybe that informs how we do things, but does of those 80, here's the types, does that change how we address things? Or like to your point of soccer, like, is there some type of data that U46 or Tina can get a hold of that you really see like the student body as a whole is active in sports by this percentage versus, a different percentage, because then how does that inform us? Well, if we're doing a youth event, does it make sense to have it sport oriented, or does it make it more sense to be like video game oriented? Is that kind of like why we have these communities of interest?
Good point. I think, for me, what I'm hoping to do here with you guys is to try to solicit more anecdotal, your perception, your feeling on it, because obviously, I'm going to go back into the degree that we can find quantitative data that'll support it. That's the ultimate. That's what, if we can support that, it'd be great. It just seemed to me like soccer. I go, wow, what else is it's not just soccer. Basketball's popular here. All the high schools have football. So there's a lot of sports, and I was just wondering why soccer particularly, but you're absolutely right in terms of under that heading, communities of interest. So do we keep it in there, guys? I mean, move on, think about it.
Gil, can I add one thing, Gil?
Fire away, Bernie.
It seems like the city in the last 10 or so years has made a big move on the arts and culture too. And that doesn't sound like it's mentioned, but if you're trying to tell somebody what is the city of Elgin about, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of youth athletics. There's a lot of, we have the art lofts. We have a lot of local artists. They passed an ordinance that they can have street performers. I think that, I don't know, I mean, that might be something to add.
No, you're absolutely right, Bernie. I mean, clearly our community has changed in terms of art in the last maybe the last decade, 5 years for sure. So yeah, that perfect. Thank you. That's awesome. That's exactly what I needed. Any other thoughts before we go to the communities?
I would, in regards to soccer, Jared can back me up if I'm not thinking right, but with the kids that we work with, I would say like 95% of them play soccer. Not always in school, but they are involved in some sort of team. And so I think, I mean, if you drive, yeah, I would keep that. I mean, you could add something about sports in general, but I don't know if you're going to find data because they don't all play on the school soccer teams.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, if you drive around on a weekend during soccer season, those fields are packed, or indoor season, they're packed.
And I totally agree with you. I mean, sometimes I can't even find parking.
Yeah.
But I think the data, if we were to look at data for sports, it'd be great to get like school data and then data maybe from Parks and Recreation in terms of what's popular of their classes and all that.
I wonder if you could ask like Illinois Soccer Association too, how many clubs they have registered in Elgin or something. I don't know what the proper name is. I just know that they have us.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you. All right.
Now, Gil, regarding the arts, I'm in agreement that you should add that. We have ECC, they do plays all the time. We have artists that actually come in and a lot of performances in local areas, flea markets.
I agree. I totally agree. Thank you. Thank you. Communities of experience, which is our last one. It's defined as a group of people sharing a life experience. Now, in Elgin encompasses a large cultural and lifestyle populations. 26% of Elgin's residents were foreign-born, the majority having immigrated from Mexico and Laos. Many Mexican immigrant parents work in factories or work second or third shift, but we also have minority business owners. A couple organizations exist specifically to bring information and services to minority residents. We also have 2 large colleges, one 2-year and one 4-year, which contributed to communities of both students of both traditional and non-traditional. On the community experience, is there anything here that we missed that we should maybe remove, tweak? What are your thoughts?
Another thing that I would add to that is our private schools. So you have Elgin Academy, you have, the Christian Academy, you have, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I know that the synagogue does something, and you have St. Joe's, St. Mary's, St. Ed's.
Yep. You're absolutely right. Yep. Good to know.
Yeah,
we got a lot of them. We got Westminster, Harvest, St. John's Lutheran. I mean, yeah, we got a lot of private schools.
You also have National Louis University, and we have Columbia of Missouri University. They're all located in Elgin as well.
That's right. Where were those 2 again? National
Louis University. They're off of Tollgate Road.
Right. And what was the other one?
Columbia University of Missouri. They are located in the ECC building, and they also have a campus in Crystal Lake.
Okay, awesome. Good to know. Good to know. With all those schools and universities, maybe we can uptake our bachelor degrees around here. Awesome. Now, the document, and we're done with today's activity, but it talks about community needs. The other is community resources. This is definitely one that needs to be updated. Some of the gaps that this coalition has identified in resources. Again, this is going to require a discussion with all of us because this is why we have a coalition. You guys are You guys know way more than I do. And then we're going to talk about the community history. And I know there's stuff missing in here because I think the last time this was updated was no, January 2014. So it's been a while. Probably should get that updated. The other section is the problem goal statements. Okay. This probably won't change as much, but the stats probably will. And that's it. So once we have this community assessment, we as a coalition can publish this document and make it available to new businesses that come into Elgin, new agencies that form as nonprofits, offer it as a resource to the city of Elgin to have on a rack or something, maybe a one-sheeter to get people. So that, it's more than just help for us. I think it really helps the community. So that's the end of activities. Any other comments overall? If you guys, anybody want this document to look it over, please let me know, give that to you. Any thoughts?
Gil, it may be good for us all to have a copy of that document with some type of we've done a certain amount today, but if we're more informed of like the areas that we're tackling next month, maybe someone's like, hey, my expertise is in this area, or it's in my realm of what I do, in work, that I'm informed of this part of the community assessment, because then as a coalition, those that have that information more at their fingertips and have evaluated it, then it'll be a more a better product for the community.
Awesome. Agreed. Thank you, Jack. And thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your input. You don't know how long I've wanted to get your input on this, but our meetings sometimes just get a little cramped with stuff. And I think this is important. This is important, especially as we're coming up on our new year. So thank you. I'll send that to everybody and we can discuss the rest later.
Very good. All right. Hey, Bernie, you're up, buddy. We look forward to the EPT drug unit report.
Well, just so you guys know, I'm driving, so I'm multitasking again. Our drug unit is still with one detective full-time. Then we have a bunch of task force officers. We're promised more bodies. It's hard to stop the bleeding. What do you have, a ferret?
Yeah, it's a ferret. My kids let him out. He was biting my ankles.
So, really what's going on, we're overwhelmed with the amount of drug work that's to be done in Elgin. And I want to say in the last 2 to 3 months, we're averaging somewhere around 2 different cases a week and maybe 6 different people. And that's one guy. So when we were, sitting around 5, if you do the math, there's a lot of drug work that's not being done because of, just it's no one to blame. I can tell you that. And it's not from lack of support. It is 100%. We cannot stop the bleeding of it taking a year to train an officer. And, the amount of people that have left is, I don't know, I used to throw around the number 20, but it's over that now. So eventually we will get the bodies and, hopefully pick up where we left off. We are working. Recently, I worked with Sheriff Ron Hain and Jamie Mauser on a new program for, very selective, non-violent drug offenders to, put them on like a very strict probation. And if they're successful in it while they're in it, then they're allowed to plead down to a class 1 felony instead of an X. And, Jamie was on, I think it was 2 months ago, but I could be wrong, Jamie Mauser. And, she kind of talked a little bit about pre-arrest diversion, where we have enough to charge someone, but we tell them you have an option to, get right and avoid being charged altogether. And then on the back end, working with the Sheriff Ron Hain, who came to talk to us last year about some of his programs and, getting people job training while they're in jail is an alternative. the one guy we worked with specifically, I don't know if he's out now, but he probably is. He's a formerly trained chef, and he's got a wife and 3 kids or something like that. So we're doing a lot of positive stuff. All of the police department it's a staffing issue just based on the amount of massive retirements. We're very thin. There's a lot of mandates. They've had to make emergency, like they had to modify our comp time usage and do stuff like that just to kind of control the amount of mandates of people being mandated to work double shifts and stuff like that. So the good news is we are hiring again. So anybody that knows somebody that's interested in working for Elgin Police Department, we are officially hiring and taking applications. We exhausted our list. The chief overhired every chance she could. And we're still down just based on, the amount of people that are leaving, but it's all been, I can't say anyone could do a better job of hiring. The city council has let us overhire, and that's helping, but it's just staffing is an issue. It's an issue for the drug union, but there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of work being done too. So
Thank you, Bernie. Hey, I had a question for you, Bernie, if you don't mind. So is the drug unit seeing anything, any activity with youth, particularly during the summer, any particular, meth, or any kind of interaction with juveniles at all in the last several months?
No, we have not been seeing stuff with juveniles, and I don't know if schools being open or closed either affects that, closes our eyes to it, makes it worse. I don't have the data to speak on that, but our overdoses seem to be adults, not youth. I think you had asked me if we had seen the prescription fentanyl pills. We had an overdose within the last day or two of those, so those have made it our way. We did a couple we worked with the DEA, but these were deals in Elgin, for a couple kilos of cocaine and a couple kilos of what we thought was heroin, but turned out to be fentanyl. Not really with the youth though, Gil. And I don't know if it's because, without the schools, if it's summer or what, but no.
Thank you.
Now, Bernie, when you're saying that I remember the chief talking about, like, she understood like the rate of retirements, I guess is a right? She knows these people are up for retirement. They may elect to continue even though they're eligible to serve. Are you saying that the amount of people leaving the force is exceeding what her expected rate of retirements are?
Well, I think she's real in touch with the fact that, she said, so this might not be an exact quote, but 60 people will leave in the next 4 to 5 years. That number overall may be correct, but I think it's, there's some surprises, and then there's some attrition too. People that, maybe realize themselves they shouldn't be police. That was one. We had a termination. You can never predict when people are going to mess up. We have red flag things in place, but one person was terminated. One person just quit. A lot of people retired. If you follow the police department, our deputy chief went to become a chief of West Chicago. Commander Echeverria is now chief of Peoria. And Bisegli was a commander. He went to Gilbert, Arizona. I don't know if those were all surprises, but they did all happen at once. And, that moves our promotion lists very fast. We're promoting, if the numbers are correct, 3 commanders, 2 lieutenants, and then in order to replace that amount of sergeants, it's 5 sergeants. So, essentially 5 people off of patrol will get promoted to sergeant, and then they'll hire for those positions. And I believe they overhired. It might be, and I'm guessing, but it's about 3 that we're down now. Out of, the numbers in the last year, it would shock me if that number's under 20, but I think it's over. But then it just takes, a good 10 or 11 months with COVID, even longer, to get somebody from raising their right hand to, being able to handle a beat on their own.
Okay. Yeah, so on the Facebook page of the EPD, and Jared, I'm sure you'll push it out on ours, they did a great recruiting video. And so you'll want to get that out to people and help the EPD with their recruiting deficit there. So next on the agenda, we've got, 14 minutes left, roughly, not much. So really our action items section of our meeting is going to be more compressed, compact. Gil has just brought to the screen like our open action items. We have at the end of September, we want all of the action items that we can get done. We want to be able to get them done. One thing that we'll be looking at very shortly as a coalition, not for the next fiscal year, because that action plan has already for fiscal year 2021, 2022 been submitted to the CDC, but for 2022 to 2023, we want to be have a more collaborative process about putting on our action plan, action items that are impactful and that the coalition as a whole wants to do, and that's important for us. So with that, Gil, is there anything specific that we wanted to address with the action items today? Does anybody have a question about one that they're in the middle of that you want to bring to the floor?
Yeah, I just, Jack, thank you. I appreciate that. For me, August is always kind of an exciting month and kind of a nail-biting month. And it's usually exciting because when I look at our things, everything here you guys see with the blue that's D means it's done. So we've done a lot. All right, so I'm really excited. Look, I mean, it just goes on and on. Anything with IP is in progress. So I'm very optimistic that these will be turned into Ds pretty soon as well. Hopefully by September 29th, which is the last day of our fiscal year. But these are the 3 that have nothing. So there's really hasn't been an activity. And it just seems every year we have 1 or 2 of these. So we're kind of like on track. So I'm super excited by all the Ds. Guys, we've crushed it. And you've been really helpful on all these activities. We're still got to work on these here. We're currently working on, which is good, and then these just probably, I don't know. Love you guys' thoughts on these 3, because these are 3 that there's nothing going on that I know of. Maybe there is. So what do we do as a coalition with these 3? Do we try do we get them done by September? Do you guys want to just chalk it up as a loss? What are your thoughts?
I'm looking at one that says my name on it, I think. As far as resources or like trainings, I mean, I've done a bunch this year. I can do one for Sishi as well. I mean, just let me know what you guys need. And I'm willing
Jenny,
to do
this
that.
one was one last year. You, Jessica, and Dr. Weiner had put together. We did that community that workshop with CEU credits and all that. That's what we did last year. The prior 2 years, we just had like workshops at a health fair, which were a miserable disaster. But we had great success last year, didn't we, Jessica? With the conference that we did online. So this one particularly, number 20, that one is more than just the coalition. It's more kind of designed for community, that kind of, if we had something that we could offer to everybody kind of thing. So do you think that might be possible?
I have a million resources. I can put
okay.
together something in like 2 seconds, depending on what kind of resources you're looking for.
Oh, let's talk later. Let's talk, right?
Resource event. Okay.
I'm gonna put that under IP then. That's awesome. And then you and I get together and we'll talk. Now, Beverly, you have Kathy as part of the committee. So it's you, Beverly, Kathy, and of course me. And I think with 4 of us, boy, let's nail it. Okay, does that sound cool? Okay. Maybe I pushed too much. Okay.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy Pava. She's a snowbird, so she's not always on here. She goes to Florida a lot during the winter, but she's home right now, so we can definitely do something together. So great. How about these?
Right, yeah, she's not on she's usually on the meetings too, but remember didn't she have like one of her friends had a wake or something today?
Yeah, those of you that are know the Elgin community should know probably Kathy Matthews, who was in charge of, I think, the Children's Theater group out in ECC. She passed away. She was a personal friend of Kathy, so she's doing the funeral thing with her. But back to these other 2 is to provide an annual training and to educate parents about district alternatives. I talked to Christina about number 24, educating parents and community about district alternatives to suspension policies. We just don't know how we're going to get that done without U46 being here present and part of our coalition. So that one very likely is going to be a wash. Jessica, did you have any thoughts at all about the number 10, provide semi-annual training and coaching? Remember last year we hired Eric Anderson from the Healthy Nonprofit, who did training for us. Any thoughts? Do you think we could do that? Should we just consider this a wash for this year? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know.
Okay, well, Jenny's part of your committee. Jenny, do you know? I mean, like I said, if we can hire somebody to give us all training on governance and nonprofit operation between now and the end of September, great. Again, the coalition will pay for it. I'm part of the committee. I'd be happy to help you guys. But if you guys don't think we can do that,
does it have to be a nonprofit operation, or
not necessarily? No.
I mean, because we've done that for the past couple of years, and I guess it's helpful. But since sushi is kind of this weird, not its own thing, but its own, like, it's like a weird, they give us all this information because they don't always get it, and then it's like, oh, we can't do that. Oh, we aren't going to do that because this is how this works, or whatever.
Yeah. Right. I tell you one thing that would probably be helpful for Sishi for our coalition is, we're always seeking to find and understand better ways to engage the coalition as a whole, and to have like what we do be purposeful and be something that people want to take part in. So if there's any way that there's training to help us develop our action plan, or to help engage the coalition as a whole, I think that would be a very helpful training, because it sounds like, oh yeah, well, just ask people to be involved. Well, or make it more engaging. Yeah, that sounds simple, but hey, I'm having a hard time. Gil's having a hard time. We get word from Christina or anybody that when we get out and we're doing our activities, that they have a fun time, so I don't know if it's lost in translation, but that type of training, I'd definitely be up for. Awesome. And are you saying, Gil, that we would have that as, say, like our September meeting next month, or are you saying that would be a separate training time?
That has to be, frankly, I would let Jenny and Jessica kind of give me the recommendation, my thoughts is we got a lot that we still have to do as a coalition in terms of just the coalition stuff. This is extra training. I think that would be helpful. But if Jenny and Jessica thinks we should incorporate it to our September meeting, let's do it.
Yeah, I guess I need more information about it, but I definitely think we could do stuff like team building. There's a million ideas you can do with that. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So you guys will get separate and then inform us, and then we'll have a good training time.
Okay. Does that sound okay, Jessica and Jenny?
Yeah, just more information I think would be helpful for sure.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you. Jack?
Very, very cool. So we're on our waning moments here of our meeting. I think it's been more engaging. We've gotten some good forward progress. And at this moment, there's an open floor. So if you have things that are happening in this next month that you'd like to let us know about, or anything specific, go ahead and shoot. I saw that Jared actually also had our evaluations already posted on the chat.
Yeah, I just posted that. So if you guys could just take a second to fill that out, that would be great, or at least copy the link so you have it. But that helps us, to help you. And also, I just wanted to say really quick, I know I emailed some of you just some general questions to answer about social media, about the coalition in general. I have gotten a couple of responses, so I do greatly appreciate that. That helps me kind of better know, what time to post something or what content to post. So, if you haven't yet, you need the email, I can send it to you again, but it's just like 6 questions and they're pretty much like, a sentence answer on a couple of them and like 1-word answer on others. So again, thank you for filling that out and sending it back to me. And if you still can, that would be great, but that's all I have.
Well, Jared, I answered to the best of my ability.
I did see that. Thank you. I will be putting all those answers kind of together to kind of help me out. And I'll probably go through those with Gil and, kind of go from there.
Okay. I just wanted to give a shout out for the Support After Abortion program. I did a launch this past weekend and it didn't go as well as I would have liked, but I'm still excited because God did send people to network with me and say they would be glad to tell people about what I'm trying to do. But I'm going to do another launch of the Support After Abortion program. I am planning to do a series of workshops for men and women suffering from making that post-abortive decision. We're going to first work with the women. It will be called Keys to Hope and Healing. And I'm going to relaunch August 27th and 28th, where people can just come out and meet and we talk about it and I explain what's going on. So I'll get a flyer together and I'll send it out to everyone. And it'd be helpful if you can just pass it on. What I'm running into, and I realize this is a hard community to reach because of the stigma of having had an abortion. A lot of people, it's a secret. They don't share, they don't talk about it. And trying to reach them has been very difficult. I know they're out there and I know they're scared, but if anybody has any ideas, I would be grateful to hear them because I really want to reach this community because I know this healing is much, much needed. And especially in our churches, I'm learning there are a lot of women sitting in the pews and they're really hurting and they're scared to speak up. And I hate to say it, but our Christian community can be kind of mean to women that have had abortions. The faith-based community can be mean. I can speak from experience, so I know that they can be mean. So I'm really having a hard time getting these women together. So any suggestions would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Beverly. And we shared your flyer on our social media, just so you know. And we do that to any of our members, please let us know. I think we recently shared the police department's recruitment video, I think, which was pretty awesome. So, and before we go, in this open floor, I guess I also wanted to let everyone know that I met with Alyssa. She's in our meeting today. She's at the Crisis Center. So completely excited to be able to have the Crisis Center as part of the coalition. So we're talking about some training, some collaborative initiatives in the community. So we're super, super excited. More to come. But Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us today. And if you don't mind, what was your title again with the Crisis Center?
Sure. I'm a sexual assault preventionist. And I'm really excited. A lot of the risk and protective factors for sexual assault are the same for substance abuse. So this like partnership, I mean, a lot of the things we're trying to target are the same thing. So I'm really
Awesome.
excited.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I just had a meeting with Pastor Raul de la Mata of Love Revival Church. He has a real heart to do a revival crusade type of event on actually it's August 27th and 28th. So just what, 2-3 weeks from now, down at Festival Park. So I just got some material yesterday. I'll forward that on to Jared. And more us getting out is very important. So I want to send that out to everybody. Then also like the work that Jared's doing, I want to encourage him for the social media. We had a great podcast with Maria that we released. I'm looking here, and I think the only other person that really did a podcast with us so far is Jessica. And so I think we've got a number of people that will be doing their podcast here short order. Jenny next week, right? So that's pretty cool. So it's a great tool, not only to get the word out about what CSHE is and what we do, but it's also good for CSHE members to hear who our other what we do and why we do it. So like for Alyssa, that would be going to the podcast would be a great way for you to like get up to speed in a short amount of time. And I think that was also a dual purpose of why we had the podcast. So so I want to encourage everybody to share that, to listen. And then definitely we look forward to having you on the mic. It's not a scary thing. Jessica knows she had a good time, right? I think she was laughing and had a good time. So
yeah, it was good.
All right. Hey, it's 12:02. You've got the evaluations. Go and conquer. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye.